The smallest gestures can be the most refreshing. Give extra, get extra.
It's the opening weekend of the Olympic Games. We've already had a lot of action in the world, all over the world in Tokyo. But that's not the only major sports news. We got sports news in the world of Major League Baseball. We're going to have a great show tonight. We're just going to jump right into it. I'm not going to waste any more time with you. So the Sky Meeting YouTube Sports Weekend wrap-up show is on the air. And good evening there, everybody. I am so glad to have you here tonight for the show. This is Scott Manning coming to you live from Scott Manning YouTube Sports Talk. It is now time for the weekend wrap-up show. I want to thank all my loyal viewers for being with me here tonight. We have a lot to talk about here in about the next half hour or so. I'm going to jump right into the show, and we're going to get started with it, and we're going to start it out with the Olympic Games. I want to ask you guys something. Did you see the U.S. play France in men's basketball? Well, I'm going to keep it to you short and sweet, and I'm going to keep it short and simple as I should. Giannis Antetokounmpo had a much better week than the men's basketball team. The French handed the U.S. a loss, and this is what I think the U.S. men's basketball team is thinking right now. The U.S. struggled the other day, and that's all there was to it. Now the U.S. women's gymnastics team, they got off to a shaky start, led by Simone Biles. But the U.S. finished second in their qualifier. They're now going for gold on the gymnastics floor in Tokyo. Australian swimmer Ariane Titmus upset American Katie Ledecky today in the 400-meter free. She took gold. Ledecky took silver. Titmus set a new world record in the event in the women's 400 meters. And the United States women's softball team had a great day the other day. They will be facing Japan for gold in the softball final. They're going to be facing off for gold. And keep in mind, the U.S. softball team had to come from behind against Australia to beat them 2-1. And that's going to be unbelievable. Now, I will have more reports this week from Tokyo. Don't worry. I will be doing more reports during the week, and I'll be making another announcement concerning Major League Baseball and the trade deadline. And that will be at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. But we got other things we got to address. We had two big series that were well worth the talking about. The Boston Red Sox, once again, took 3 out of 4 from the New York Yankees. What is going on with the Yankees? I'll get to that in a minute. But first, for the Red Sox, these numbers were not spectacular, but they were good enough. JD Martinez, he was 2 for 15 in this 4-game set with a run, a double, a walk, but he struck out 4 times. So, unfortunately, I have to do this.
The House of Pain, the House of Pain, the House of Pain, the House of Pain.
Rafael Devers, he was 4 for 15. He was a little bit better. He had 3 runs. He had 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. So I'll give him some love. Xander Bogaerts, he was 3 for 14 with a run, 2 RBIs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. So I have to do this.
The House of Pain, the House of Pain, the House of Pain, the House of Pain, the House of Pain.
Now, despite all that, the Red Sox took 3 out of 4. But as for the Yankees, I will say this for sure. DJ LeMahieu, he was 3 for 17 for the series. He had a run, 2 doubles in the series, very impressive. 3 walks, but he struck out 4 times. Giancarlo Stanton, he was 4 for 15 for the series with a run, a double. He had an RBI, 3 walks, but he did strike out 5 times.
The House of Pain, the House of Pain, the House of Pain.
Mix it up a little bit. I just had to do that. Gleyber Torres. He was 5 for 14 with a run, a walk, 4 RBIs, but he struck out 5 times. Now, what is going on? The Red Sox, during this four game set, they had 2 come-from-behind victories. One on Thursday, and the other one was today. The Red Sox got their 32nd come-from-behind victory on this Sunday afternoon. But what happened? There were 2 games I could point to, Thursday and Sunday. On Thursday, Jordan Montgomery pitched a good game. He pitched 5 2/3, gave up 3 hits, 1 walk, struck out 6. But Brooks Kiersky threw 4 straight wild pitches and got a blown save. Oh, boy. The Yankee bullpen did it again. Then on Sunday, today, Domingo Germain pitched the best game of the season for him. He pitched 7 innings, gave up 1 hit, 1 earned run, a walk. He struck out 10, but the Yankees bullpen blew it again. You have got to be kidding me. The Yankees, they need pitching help. They got to get some guys in the bullpen. Outside of Garrett Cole, who got lit up who lost on Friday, the Yankees have no pitching outside of Cole, and even Garrett Cole's not even looking too good right now. And that's a fact of the matter. And that's the truth. And it's getting ridiculous. And that's the bottom line. I've never seen a Yankees team play so bad. And here's the deal. The Yankees have no pitching. But on Friday, and I want to give some credit to the Red Sox for this. The Red Sox had to bring somebody out of the bullpen because Eduardo Rodriguez left the game after 1 inning with migraine symptoms. And the poor guy, I felt bad for him. But the Red Sox had to bring in Phillips Valdez. This guy got called up from AAA Worcester that day. On that Friday afternoon, he got called up. And I'll give this guy credit. Phillips Valdez, give him some love. He pitched 3 innings, gave up 1 hit, 1 walk. He struck out 7. Give him credit. He did not get the win. But I'll tell you what, you got to give him some love. And that's the story. It was the pitching that hurt the Yankees, and it was the pitching that helped the Red Sox out. Despite the fact that Eduardo Rodriguez had to leave the game on Friday due to migraine symptoms, the Red Sox still won. And I'll tell you what, this guy, Phillips Valdez, he pitched himself out of a jam. Give him credit. He deserves a spot on the team. He needs to be called up and put on the Red Sox roster. And I'm going to be handing him a special award here in a few minutes. All right. Let's move on. The Chicago White Sox take 3 out of 4. Actually, the Milwaukee Brewers take 3 out of 4. Let me back up one more time. The Milwaukee Brewers took 2 out of 3 from the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox had hardly any hitting at all in this set. And the Brewers weren't much better either. But each team got the job done. For the Chicago White Sox for this 3-game set, Tim Anderson, he's hitting over 300. He was 1 for 12 with 3 strikeouts. Jose Abreu, 1 for 10. He struck out 5 times. Jan Moncada, he wasn't much better either. 2 for 12, 6 strikeouts. Christian Yelich for the Brewers. He was 1 for 12 with a run, a walk. He struck out 5 times.
Don't buy.
Kelton Wong, 3 for 12 He had a home run. He had 2 runs, an RBI, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts.
Don't buy.
Willie Adams, he came over from the Tampa Bay Rays. 1 for 9 with a run, an RBI, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. Think about the bats, the big bats for the Brewers and the White Sox. The Brewers, Yelich, Wong, and Adams, they were a combined 5 for 33 in the series with 13 Ks. The White Sox in this series, Anderson, Abreu, and Moncada, they were a combined 4 for 34 with 14 Ks. That was bad. But on Sunday night, we saw a pretty good one. I saw a pretty good game on this Sunday night. Lance Lynn proved why he's the best pitcher in the White Sox rotation. He pitched 6 solid innings, gave up an earned run, struck out 6. He's dropped his ERA to 1.91. And Liam Hendricks gets his 24th save of the season, but Michael Kopech, he gets his 6th hold of the season. A big night tonight at Miller Park on Sunday Night Baseball. But Brandon Woodruff, I feel bad for him. 5 innings pitched. He pitched 7 innings, gave up 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, struck out 9. Everybody's been asking me, how in the world could the Brewers not get a sweep? We don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. The Brewers, despite the poor hitting, got the job done. They took 2 out of 3. They had a few long balls this week from other players that I did not mention. Now, everybody's been asking me, Scott, what do you think is going to happen to these two teams? Well, I think the Brewers might be in okay shape. They still got a long way to go. They still got to win some huge ball games. The White Sox, despite losing 2 out of 3, they're in a much better position than a lot of people have expected. And that's the big point that I'm trying to drive home. Now, we got some MLB trade news that I want to address. I want to address this because it's worth it. The New York Mets acquired Rich Hill from the Tampa Bay Rays for 4 other players. Now, the Mets needed the pitching help. Before Friday, now, Hill made his debut here on Sunday, and I'll get to that in a minute. But Rich Hill, before his debut on Sunday with the Mets against the Blue Jays, he had a 6-4 record with a 3.87 ERA in 19 starts, and he had 91 strikeouts. But today, in his Mets debut, his debut was good, but it could have been better. Now, Hill pitched 5 innings. He gave up 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks. He struck out 1. He got a no decision. But I think this may help. Rich Hill may have been a little bit of a help. Now, yes, the Mets have Marcus Stroman and Tajon Walker. However, and this is a biggie, the Mets pitching rotation is banged up, to say the least. Jacob deGrom and David Peterson, they're both on the injured list. Carlos Carrasco, he's struggling with AAA Syracuse. Noah Syndergaard, he's still having rehab from Tommy John surgery. And he's trying to throw in bullpen sessions himself. So the Mets pitching rotation is banged up, to say the least. Now, what I would like to see the Mets do, I would like to see the Mets get another starter and maybe another closer. Craig Kimbrell's been on the talk. Zach Davies of the Cubs, along with Craig Kimbrell, both Cubs players. Could they be going to different places? Max Scherzer. Everybody was talking about the Washington Nationals being buyers. Now they may have to be sellers because the Nationals are injury plagued. Could Max Scherzer go to the Mets? That remains to be seen. I grant you the Mets are in first place in the National League East, and the East is weak right now. I'm not going to make that up. However, at the end of the day, if the Mets win the division and the Yankees don't make the playoffs, a lot of fans in New York are going to be saying, "We want the Mets." We may see some Mets. We may see a lot of wagon jumpers in New York before this is all said and done. And that's the truth of the matter. The New York Yankees are 2 games back of the Oakland A's for the second wild card. While the New York Mets, they're leading the National League East despite the fact their pitching pitching rotation is banged up. There's just no two ways to put it. The Yankees pitching the Mets rotation is banged up. And that's all there is to it. Now, that was not the only trade news involving the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays got Nelson Cruz from the Minnesota Twins. And Nelson Cruz made his debut with the Tampa Bay Rays this weekend against the Cleveland Indians. Now, the Indians won today, but the Rays took 2 out of 3 from Cleveland. No surprise. But Nelson Cruz, for his first 3 game set as a Tampa Bay Ray, was very simple. He was 2 for 12. 3 runs, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. I'm going to give him some love. Nelson Cruz, give the Rays credit. They got a good bat. Before the weekend series against the Indians, Nelson Cruz was hitting .294 with an OBP of .370. He had an OPS of .907, people. So, I'll say this now. Nelson Cruz needs to get a lot of love. That's all there is to it, my friends. Give him some love. So now, those are the two big trades for the Rays. So let me ask, there's been a lot of questions and a lot of speculation of what's going to be going on at the trade deadline. The San Diego Padres got a big bat from the Pittsburgh Pirates today. I forgot to write that name information down, and my apologies for that. So everybody's been asking me about the Cubs fire sale. Scott, who's the next to go? Well, that's a hard one. The Cubs took 2 out of 3 from the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's something to think about. Now, the Cubs are going to have a fire sale at the trade deadline. There's no doubt. There's no 2 ways to avoid it. The Nationals may have to get rid of Max Scherzer because the Washington Nationals are injury-plagued and they're struggling and they're going in the wrong direction. So with a lot of noise at the trade deadline, what could possibly happen? We don't know. But now here's the deal. Whatever happens now is going to be big. So this Friday, July 30th at 4 o'clock, when the trade deadline comes and goes, there's going to be a lot of new faces and a lot of new places. And everybody needs to understand. And also, to just let you know, the Padres acquired Adam Frazier from the Pittsburgh Pirates today. That's who I was thinking of. And like I said, I forgot to write that information down, and I do apologize. Now, here's the question. Who's going to be next to go? There's going to be a lot of things going to be going on there. Could the Los Angeles Dodgers get into the conversation of getting Max Scherzer? Mookie Betts is banged up. He's on the 10-day injured list with a hip injury. Scherzer can hit. He can pitch. Now, with the trade deadline looming, who's next to go? We don't know. All right, I'm going to move on to let's move on. Let's move on to something pleasant. You know, everybody's been talking about, you guys have ever heard of the Big 3 basketball tournament? I watched some of that today, and I actually enjoyed myself. Our team from Ohio won today. It was Carmen's team. I don't know the last name, but it was Carmen's team. I think that's what the name of it was. Now, the rules for the Big 3 basketball are a lot different than the NBA. Now, it is full court, but you have to play to a point total. Their point total was 80, and they got it. I know it sounds confusing. You'll have to look at the Big 3 rules because I don't know the rules myself. But I know one thing today. I actually enjoyed that game. I really did. And it was in Columbus. I wish I would have known that. I would have gone down to Nationwide Arena. But it is what it is. But I want to go back to the Olympics for a minute. I want to talk about the Olympics again because it's well worth talking about. 16.7 million people watched the opening ceremonies of the Olympic Games. That's an all-time low for the United States. I know it's sad, but with the opening ceremonies, it usually doesn't mean much. But I'll say this, though. The opening ceremonies are finished, and now we've gotten through the first couple of days. Medals have been handed out. China has the most. The United States is right on their heels. I'm trying to keep the show going because there wasn't that much news in the sports world today. I reported on some baseball news in the Olympics. But I'll tell you what. This is going to be a fun week. I have a strange feeling on that. Now I'll have reports from the Olympics throughout the week. But ladies and gentlemen, before I go tonight, I'm not going to give you any closing thoughts because I've given a bunch of thoughts on other things today. But I just want to let you know, right here on YouTube, at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be doing, actually what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing from 12 noon to the trade deadline. I will be right here on YouTube, ready to give you my choice this is going to be Scott Manning YouTube Trade Deadline Central. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm looking forward to this show. So from noon until 4 p.m., I'm going to be right here, keeping you guys up to date on what's going to go on with the trade deadline. If nothing else transpires during the day, I'll stay here as long as I can. But the truth of the matter is, there's going to be a lot of noise come the trade deadline, and I think everybody knows it. And the bottom line is this. It's going to be crazy. There's no two ways about it. And here's the deal. Whatever happens at the trade deadline, we'll have to wait and see. But this Friday at 12 noon until the deadline ends at 4 p.m., I will be right here on YouTube, ready to bring you up to date on all the latest news in the world of Major League Baseball. And I will have a complete wrap-up at 11 o'clock Friday night on what happened during the MLB trade deadline. So that is the truth. And I'll make this announcement again on my Facebook page, so stay tuned for that. Okay, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here tonight. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Scott Manning. All you have to do is type my name, scroll down, look for this pretty face, click subscribe, and you'll see all the sports videos I have done so far. I want to apologize for rambling on, but I ran out of sports news, and I tried to keep the show going as long as I could, but I figured I'll go ahead and sign off. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here tonight. Thank you so much for being with me, and God bless. Goodbye, everybody, and I thank you.